afternoon from America, everybody. It is a Monday. I am at home alone, and my dad's at work, and I got lunch by myself today, so I thought, why not go see what's happening at the 7-Eleven? What's going on now at 7-Eleven? We've talked about convenience stores a lot, and compared them to our thoughts of convenience stores 5 years ago in America. So I'm wondering if it's gotten better, if it's gotten worse, if it's something that I would frequent if I lived here. And I did a little research before I left the house to find out how far away 7-Eleven is. Is it very convenient? When we did our video in Kumagaya of dinner at 7-Eleven, we had to go about 1.3 kilometers. So we ended up riding our bikes there, and that's really, really normal and really, really safe. So we just got on our bikes and we went the 1.3 kilometers to 7-Eleven. Here, I'm gonna go 0.9 kilometers. So even more convenient, but I'm gonna have to do that in a car. Walking that far isn't really a buzzkill, but even if it was 0.9 in Kumagaya, I'd want to ride my bike just because I'm hungry. I don't want to walk 40 minutes for a cold meal. I do have access to a bike here, but the roads are not safe enough for a bike. And people are gonna go, oh, they're fine. My brother's been hit by a car. I'm good. I'm not riding my bike on roads that are not equipped for bikes. We have a little sliver of road outside of the lines, but it's not enough for me to feel like I'm gonna be okay. So I'm gonna be driving, and I'm gonna be driving this beaut. It's my dad's Jeep that he's had since I was quite young, and it's stick shift, so that's a lot of fun. Ooh, rolling forward. Oh yeah, the camera stayed! Hooray! Oh, I went the wrong direction, shit. One of the major differences you're gonna find with Japanese and American 7-Elevens is that American 7-Elevens, I wanna say like at least 90%, perhaps even higher, are going to have a gas station, unless it's in the inner city. And I guess that's maybe why all of Japan's, or a good majority, don't have gas stations. They just don't have the room for it, but it's also that convenience store doesn't necessarily mean gas there, because lots of people don't drive, they don't have to think about that. But here, everybody is going to be driving to the 7-Eleven, unless they live in the area, like the neighborhood that's right next door. I didn't even go a kilometer to get here, and I took my car. And that's how most Americans think. If you've got to go more than a couple minute walk, you're gonna be up in that car. But a lot of things are not a couple minutes away, so keep that in mind. It's miles upon miles away. And I'm gonna flip between miles and kilometers because that's the world I live in right now. I prefer kilometers, but miles is what everything is in here. So I've come in and noticed that it's basically pretty similar to a Japanese one. It's much larger, but very similar. I've been down the candy aisle, I've been down the chips aisle, I've been down other aisles. The one thing that strikes me is how many ice boxes there are for soda and beer. There's a lot more, and also the bait station. But I did just hear a lady say, can I get a slice of pizza? And that kind of surprised me. So I think I'm about to go into the deli area and see what's there. The deli area is mainly made up of like fruits that you could just take, or fruit cups that have individual things inside of them, some vegetable dips, and sandwiches of varying kinds. And what was the top thing? They have some sandwiches that we don't have, like things on bagels and things on biscuits. I'm pretty charmed by the spicy chicken biscuit, so I'm thinking about getting that. But I've seen something that caught my eye that was rotating a little bit, and I'm probably gonna get that instead because it seems a little more American, but I'll get to that in just a sec. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the Slurpee machine. I am going to try my best to make a good Slurpee. I am hoping that I have this set up well. Not having another person here to tell you whether you're on the camera is actually difficult. So I've stacked up a whole bunch of DVDs. That is my Eric replacement, and it's holding the camera. Hopefully you get to see everything that I show you. The first thing I need to show you is a time-sensitive thing. This is the time-sensitive part of the time-sensitive thing. Slurpees have a shelf life of being Slurpee or just liquid. Up here you can still see that it's icy and fun, so I'm going to move my straw up to the top. I got a ton of different flavors. This green that you're seeing is a sweet and sour lemon lime. The top is wild cherry. Inside, which you can't see, and that kind of disappointed me, the pressure of the system that they had in the store was too high. So instead of the material going out into the bottom, and then you could do layers, which is what I normally do when I leave with like a multi-layered Slurpee, it just powered through and pushed all the way to the bottom. So inside I have dark cherry or black cherry and blue raspberry. So I don't know what flavor I'm going to get into, but let's find a Slurpee part. Oh wow. I was going to get coffee, and I realized after I saw the Slurpee machine that's not going to happen. And I can also make coffee at home, and I can also have coffee in Japan. You can have a Slurpee in Japan at select stores, but you won't get as much choice, and the cup might not be that big. I'm going to try this weird liquid that's been made at the bottom now. Straight sugar. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the bag that I've ended up with from 7-Eleven. Inside, as I drop everything, I'm going to get to that one in just a sec. My main meal is going to be taquitos, and taquitos are not something that I think people outside of America, let's say North America, are super aware of. It is a flour tortilla that has been wrapped around something delicious. My first instinct was Monterey Jack cheese and chicken, I think, but it could be beef. Don't know. Monterey Jack cheese was the only thing I cared about. The other one was a suggestion from the guy that worked there, and that was for the taco. So that's probably got ground beef and is going to be a Mexican tasting type of deliciousness. I also chose a bunch of fixins. Wow. Chose a bunch of fixins to have with it, like jalapenos. And basically if pickles are around, I just can't say no. I love pickles, so. These are supposed to be for their hot dogs, but the guy was nice enough to give me a box, so I kind of went crazy. I'm going to use those with my taquitos, don't worry. So all of these things are 7-Eleven specific things. And they also do salads, so I wanted to try out one of their salads, and I'm just going to jump into it right now. One thing that I noticed was that location didn't have any offerings that were without meat. And believe me, I'm not scared of meat, but I kind of wanted a cheaper salad, and I was going to get meat in my taquitos. I'm assuming that this might be actually harder to open than a Japanese one. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. The chicken is sectioned off. You could not eat it if you didn't want to, but yeah, I wanted a little bit of a cheaper one than $3.99, but I couldn't find it because maybe everybody bought them. Like, maybe people come in there and they use this in the morning. This is their everyday lunch. I go to 7-Eleven, I buy the cheap salad, I get 2 taquitos, and I have the best day of my life. Which seems pretty good. I'm psyched about these taquitos. So I'm just going to drop these in there. There's actually a fork inside. There's my fork. It just said dressing, but on the label I can see it's balsamic vinegar. No choices on that. It was just inside the bag, but they did have Caesar salads and stuff like that that were a little bit more expensive. Let's see how that goes. This is bothering me, so I'm just going to rip it off. This is supposed to be for nachos. Put your little nacho cheese thing in here. Alright. Chicken's white meat looks really good. Got some cucumbers in there. crisp, fresh. Better than expected from 7-Eleven America for the salad. When it comes to the entree, getting the taquitos is a fun pastime for me, but the selection that you'd get at a 7-Eleven in Japan for a meal is far blows American 7-Elevens out of the water. But you can't get the variety of roller foods in Japan. We don't have the rollers. We do have the warmers, so like the chicken wings and other chicken offerings that are just in the warmer case, basically the same. Making a meal at the 7-Eleven was a bit tricky because you got to get the salad a little expensive. You want to find something to go with the salad. There's not much to choose from other than sandwiches and roller foods. And believe me, I'm partial to the roller foods, so that's okay. I did go and splurge a little bit, and I got some mango. And this is actually a treat that Eric and I used to get in another convenience store. What's going on there? Am I killing the mango, like, as we speak? Oh my gosh. Okay, that was weird. Didn't expect that. We used to get mango from another convenience store that's honestly known to be a little bit higher quality, so I was kind of surprised to see the mango there at 7-Eleven. I'm going to give it a bite and just see. Are we in mango heaven? Also, haven't seen mango in a really long time, point blank. I made the right choice. Wow. When Eric and I go to 7-Eleven for dinner in Japan, we're not going there to splurge, we're just going there to eat. I would say that I splurged a little bit in this meal. This was $11.99. That includes a Slurpee, which I probably normally wouldn't get, especially not this size. But I wanted to be able to see through it, and the smaller sizes you couldn't see through. So it was important that we be able to see this. The salad, I think I was a Sally come lately, so, you know, you pay the price that you pay. In Japan, you can probably get a salad that's half this size for around $2. So it's really not that bad when I think about it. This is a good size for the price you'd end up paying. This is just straight up a splurge. I would not have included this in a meal except for the fact that, oh my gosh, there's mango. So you can kind of take that $2.99 out and we're down to about $8. These taquitos would be a definite, I'd probably just buy the taquitos and maybe a third taquito. But I thought it should get a well-rounded type of experience from the store. It was great, and the people there were really nice, and I'm happy to see that 7-Eleven's going in the direction of bringing more foods and actually having a 7-Eleven brand, but that probably only makes up about less than 10% of the store. Most things are going to be non-7-Eleven type things, and they don't have brands of 7-Eleven that are mocking other stuff, like the chips and things like that. So 7-Eleven has a good opportunity to really start doing some things that could make them a little more elite. And I hope they go the 7-Eleven route of Japan and get some great products. Like, this can go even farther. And mango. So 7-Eleven in America, pretty darn good. I'm happy with what I've landed with, and I'm ready to eat. How upset is everyone that nobody got to see inside a taquito? How did I forget that? Wow. Okay, sorry about that. Here's our lovely taquito. I believe this is the taco one. Honestly, I don't know. It just tastes like cheese. No, Monterey Jack cheese. There we go. A little bit of a spicy cheese, and chicken will be inside somewhere. Delicious. Gluttonous would be the word that I would use. Just, this is what you would eat. Ah, there's that taco meat. Now I can see it. Highly recommend you try one of these. Oh my gosh. Taco has a nacho cheese inside of it, or at least it looks like it. Ground beef. Deliciousness. Maybe like when I was in high school, I'd probably get 7-Eleven food once every 3 months, and this would be what I got. And there was no reason to change it then, and there's no reason to change it now. It is delicious. If this went away, I'd be like, why would you do that? If they added more flavors, I'd totally be happy, but the selection that they have right now is pretty good. So sorry that I almost didn't show you inside the Taquito, but you got to see it. And now I'm gonna put the rest of that inside of me. Let's go.
It was fun to see how 7-Eleven seems to have kind of improved their game in America. When we first came to Japan, we were shocked at how good the 7-Eleven was compared to what we had when we were living in Virginia beforehand. And it's good to see that they've maybe made their food a little less scary. But if you want to check out the video that we made when we first came to Japan, like I guess it was about 6 years ago now, about how impressed we were with Japanese 7-Elevens, there should be a link floating somewhere around my head.